Hello class, again this is Hosung-so Kinesiology 370. This is the continuation of the standard deviation. I'm hoping that you are watching the YouTube channel and video that I sent you about 30 minutes ago. I can see about 10 people are watching YouTube lecture right now. So this is the second part of standard deviation, how to calculate z-scores and t-scores using Excel and SPSS. There are several ways that you can calculate standard scores. The first one is you can calculate by hand. That was the first part of today's lecture. Just please look at this hand computation. So remember standard deviation of 2.27, the mean was 3.86, right? And then we got the z-scores for all the raw scores right here. Then now you need to use Excel first. So I will let you put the raw data 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 8. Now you can see all the way in this column 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 8. So to calculate the z-score, the first step you need to calculate the mean using Excel software right there. So you need to specify a cell that will appear after Excel computation. So I'm sure most of you know how to use Excel and to calculate the mean, but for those who are not really familiar with Excel, I will demonstrate very slowly so you can follow how to calculate mean, standard deviation, and z-scores using Excel. So please click any cell that you want to specify right there. So now you need to calculate mean. Click here. Go to your function and you can find the average right there. Or if you don't know what to choose to calculate mean, just put the mean. How I can get the mean, just go to mean. You will see several options, but I will go with average. Click here and Excel is asking you which data you want to calculate. So you need to specify data set from column first and raw, right? So this is a B column, right? But you will use B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8. The first letter is column. Second part, 2 and 8. That specifies the raw. Second raw, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, right? So once you specify data set, just click OK. Then you will get 3.857143 using Excel. Let's go back to our class note. We got the mean value of 3.86. And the only difference between these two numbers is, well, this one has only 2 decimals. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 decimals. That will make a slight difference in z-scores and standard deviation. However, they are relatively similar. Next, how to calculate standard deviation. Just click in this cell, go to function, and you need standard deviation right here. Click and you need data from B2 to all the way B8 and click OK. Then you got the standard deviation of 2.267, 2.27. So they are very close, right? Okay, so this is how you can calculate mean and standard deviation using Excel. Next, how to calculate z-scores using Excel program, which is a little bit tricky. So please watch very closely. So you want to calculate your raw score 1 into z-score. So click in this cell And Excel does not have automatic function key for z-scores. So you have to use some computation formula that you need to create. Okay, so if you want to create any function formula, Excel is asking you to put an equal sign first. Next, let's use this formula. Z-score is from x minus x bar over standard deviation. So you need to create your own function formula, right? So to specify the order of computation, I'm going to put a parenthesis first. And x value right here is 1 minus x bar mean right there. Parenthesis divided by standard deviation. Let's go back to the equations right there. Standard deviation is right here. Right, so the first column, which is the z-score for raw score 1, can be computed by B2 minus B9 divided by B10. So once you are ready to calculate z-scores, click. So you got the z-score for raw score of 1, negative 1.25. Let's take a look at our calculation by hand, negative 1.26. So if you round up the third number decimal, the answer will be negative 1.26. So we were right here. So once your z-score is negative 1.26, that is 10.38 percentile in this data set. Take a deep breath. Next is a little bit tricky. So please watch this video very closely. So we just calculate the raw score of 1 into z-score right here. So how can we calculate the rest of the data set? Well, you can calculate 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 8 using the same formula, but takes time, right? So right here, click first. Then now you can see the formula to calculate the z-score of raw score of 1. Then if you want to calculate the rest of it, you need to use a specific rule, which is how to lock the formula in Excel. You have to use $sign. Please lock the B column and 10. Right, still 1.25. But Excel is memorizing your formula, right? So next, just click this cell. You can see the formula to calculate the rest of raw data into z-scores. Next, watch carefully. Click this cell and copy it. Or you can use mouse, click right side, copy. Or you can just click and Control C. And next, click all the cells that you want to convert raw score into z-score, right? And enter. Then you will get the z-scores for all the raw scores. Let's compare. Let me move this screen right there. Negative 1.25 right there. Negative 0.82. 0.82. So you can calculate all the z-scores using Excel. Okay, so that is the second method to calculate z-scores using Excel. So remember the first step, the first method to calculate a z-score is calculation by hand. Second method is Excel program. Right? Let me open this file. And the third option that you can calculate z-score is Go to your computer and IBM that has SPSS version 26. Once you click it, you will see SPSS. Cheers. Cheers. And you will see the second window. Just please disregard this window. Just click OK, then it will disappear. Right? Next, let me put the first way to calculate z-score is hand computation. The second is Excel right there. So now we are on SPSS right here. Right? So you need to put the data first. So I'm going to copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 8. Copy and move it to SPSS. Or you can just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 8. It's up to you. Okay. So I don't need this. A variable view. Once you click variable view, you can change variable name. This is pull up score. So now we have a data for pull ups. You can do it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 4 times, 5 times, 8 times pull up. So you can see their distribution. And you can see the mean, what is the average of 7 individuals pull-ups, somewhere around here. So without further analysis, you know this data will have negative sign on the z-scores, right? So let's get started. How to calculate z-scores. Okay, so now you have all 7 raw data. Next, go to analyze. Go to analyze on the top. Let me do it again. If you want to calculate z-scores for all of those raw scores, go to Analyze, Descriptive, and you can see several options. I want you to click Descriptives. And you will see a new window popped up. Now you want to analyze those raw data, which is labeled as pull-up scores. So move all of these numbers under pull-up scores to the right side, which is under variable, which means SPSS will analyze pull-up scores. Good. Let me do it one more time. Go to Analyze, click Descriptives, right there, click it, move the data set under variable, so SPSS will be able to analyze any data that you want. Next, very important, to calculate z-scores, well, we did several steps in Excel. But SPSS will be simple. How simple? Move your cursor under here. Do you see a little box right there? Just click box. Save standardized values as a variable. So this is a command in SPSS to calculate your raw data into standardized scores. So now you're ready to calculate z-scores by clicking, dragging, and moving easily, right? And then now you're ready. Just click OK. And you will see outcome screen right there. That will tell you, well, SPSS just analyzed your 7 data, which has labeled as pull-up scores, minimum of 1 and maximum data of 8. The mean is 3.8571. Let's take a look at here. 3.857. Same. Standard deviation, let me find the 2.26 right there, right? So this one is descriptive statistics to describe your data set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 8. And you got the mean of 3.8571 and standard deviation of 2.26779. And just make sure you got the same value. The first step by hand, we got the mean. Second step, using Excel, we got the mean. And the last step, SPSS, we got the mean. Next, close. You don't need to save it. Then once you click, SPSS will automatically generate the second column right next to your variable pull up scores. Isn't it simple? So now you got all the z-scores right there. Let's compare 3 different methods. The first one by hand, negative 1.26 right here. Excel right here, right? Now, well, you just need 2 decimals, right? Then how do you change different decimals units into 2 decimals? Let's move this cursor to variable. How many decimals do you need? Well, I just need 2 decimals. Change it and click data view. So now you got the 2 decimals, negative 1.26, negative 1.26, negative 0.28. Good? Good? Compare the 3 screens. Okay, so this is how you use computation by hand, Excel, and SPSS. It is up to you which method you will use to calculate z-scores. However, since we have only small amount of data right there, it's easy to calculate by hand. But what if you have a 10,000 data set and it might be impossible to calculate z-scores, right, by hand? Then you need to use either Excel or SPSS. However, Excel, you need to have a function formula. This one, you can just use your cursor and click. So it's up to you, but I strongly recommend you to use SPSS. That will give you easy access to calculate z-scores and the t-scores and percentage later. Okay, so this is the end of the second video for today. Please watch the first video about overview of standard scores, and this is the second part of today's lesson, how to use computation and Excel and SPSS. And I will talk about how to use command to calculate t-scores using SPSS. And I will send you a link for Monday Zoom class. And I hope you will have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you all on Monday. Okay, thank you so much. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye. And cheers. This is my diet cook.